When veterans don't have a mission, the current rate is 22 a day are committing suicide.
Wow. Hi, and welcome to Kelly, where we talk about life, your life and my life. And through Kelly, we hope to inspire. I have former Captain Albert Roberts on the show today. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm honored to be here, Kelly. Thank you.
I'm so glad that you're here. The military is something that I have a big heart for because, as you know, my brother Ron Young Jr. in 2003 was captured in Iraq and was held 23 days as a prisoner of war. If any of you guys know the story of Jessica Lynch, the maintenance crew that was with Jessica Lynch, he was actually held with them. He was an Apache helicopter pilot that he and his co-pilot, Dave Williams, went down. So our family has, I know what families go through in the excruciating waiting and not knowing and, the ultimate sacrifice. We didn't have to face that, but we went through a death, even though he did come back home. So I just wanted to talk about vets and you spent how many years in the military?
Between the Air Force and Army National Guard, I was in about 16 years.
Now, what did you do in the Air Force?
Air Force, I was an electronic technician, and it was during Desert Storm at that time. And then I ended up growing a ponytail, got out. After 9/11, cut it off and went back in, and Air Force said, "You're too old." Army said, "Hey, you can fog up a mirror. Let's go." Yeah.
So you did it again.
I did, yeah.
So what is, coming back to civilian life, why is that so hard?
Yeah, so there's, the business of war, it's a messy thing, and training for it, whether you go or not, is irrelevant. It's a tough thing, and your brother is a personal hero of mine. I got to meet him when I was in the National Guard. But your brother fully was prepared for that to have happened, and we all are. We take a death photo before we go,
right,
in case something happens. So it's a different mindset that we have. Challenges become a daily thing. You've had more challenges by 9 o'clock than most of the regular world has,
right,
in the military, frankly. So when you get out, the challenges are not given to you in orders anymore, and you don't have a mission that is prescribed to you with a rank structure. So it's a lot different when you come out of such a organization where everybody literally does the right thing when nobody's looking. We have each other's backs. We're not white or black, we're green in that organization. So when you come out here, it's just a lot different and more challenging.
So you think, does some of the depression stem from not having a mission? I mean,
I believe so.
I get depressed when I don't have a mission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe so. I think in the military, every team member is a critical part of the accomplishment and the mission success, and everybody knows that. We know our place in things. So yeah, when you get out, if you have a lack of, and that energy is still there. We talked about that earlier. You're going to have that potential energy that's going to turn into something, and it's a matter of how we manifest it. And so film work in particular for me, and then I learned as I went along, a lot of my colleagues and brothers and sisters, is an amazing outlet for us to get into.
Yeah, let's talk about what you're doing in film and doing for the veterans. Or I guess you're doing it with the veterans.
Absolutely, yeah. And not only with veterans, but we're also bridging the gap to those folks out there who were in my case and most of my colleagues, we deal a lot with independent, some of the bigger ones, but mainly the Atlanta independent market. A lot of folks out there have never worked with us before, and it's a different kind of culture. And so, yeah, I'm working with a lot of different veterans. Some own their own companies, some run studios, some have acting studios, that sort of thing. But it's a very unique opportunity that we can have that mission or that structure that we need so badly. But then we also start to notice that those who aren't military sort of pick up on some of our little mannerisms, showing up 15 minutes early, being a quiet warrior, not griping, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a unique way not only to refine ourselves as veterans of the military, but also to enlighten others and us to learn about this world out here as well.
Now, how do people get involved in that if there's somebody out there that wants to get involved? So what Albert does is they get together. They're just like becoming like a group of friends that wants to complete a mission. And you have a film project, and your goal is to finish that project, right? You're working with the tools that you have, so you're not trying to be a multi-million-dollar. You're just trying to put something together and have an ending product at the end of it.
That we're
correct?
proud of.
That you're proud of. Yes.
Yeah. The legacy. That's a legacy, and heraldry is a big part of where we come from also. And so, my personal, I'm CEO of a film company, and none of my work is for profit at all. If anything, it costs me a lot of money to make these things, but I want as many people as possible to watch what we do. So do we all. We want to show the world what we can do.
Right.
And if we believe in that story or that the show or series, we're going to give it more than we can even afford of ourselves.
Right.
We're going to give it everything. And
now, how do people get involved with that?
Yeah, so my best recommendation would be if you're in the Southeast, particularly the Atlanta area, get down to look in the Atlanta things that are going on, any castings, but Facebook in particular. There's a group called the Atlanta Veterans Entertainment Group. Veterans Entertainment Group. We have for that, there's like a vetting process. So we will make sure that you're a veteran. And then once you're in that, there's actually a bit of, I guess, non-disclosure of some of our colleagues in that as well. There's some pretty well-known folks in the industry that are veterans or super supportive of veterans.
Now, how do you find, you've been doing this for a little while, right? How long?
I'd say, since 2012, so about 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you see that process really helps with the mindset of...
Yeah, it does. It does. And beyond that, I feel like there's a lot of us veterans who are on the fence. You know, the rate of when veterans don't have a mission, the current rate is 22 a day are committing suicide.
Wow.
And that's not just some PR, some kind of a branding for a company who wants to raise taxable funds. It's the gospel is 22 are ending their lives or more a day.
Wow.
And so I truly, and a lot of my colleagues believe it's because of that lack of mission. It's really not that hard.
Yeah.
And once we feel like we're a part of something bigger than us, that's where we shine.
Well, there's something that I've been saying for a couple of years now that I've grown to believe, and that is that I believe we are creators. And somewhere we're losing the thought of that, and we're being put in systems, so we're not creating. And really, we innately in us, we are creators.
Absolutely.
So it's very important that even if you do something as a hobby or just for mental health, that you find something that leads you to that creation.
Absolutely. And in fact, one of my earliest projects was surrounded. I entered this whole film thing, and it was supposed to have been to sell the project, and I just saw all this transformation of people I thought I knew. And it was really, and then not only that, all the concern was about money, and then the creativity, all that energy was being transferred away from the creativity.
Right.
And that's where, if you have unfettered access to creative environment where we don't have that roadblock of, how are we going to sell this? What's in it for me? What's in it for us is insert title. That's what's in it for us.
Right.
The name of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. And you said earlier too, as we were talking, you said what's cool about your group is that in the military you just learn to cover your man. And so if the cameraman goes down, somebody just steps in his spot, and you all just learn the different components.
Cross level. It's in the military. The job of the person, one up and one down. You know their job, so if they go down, you can step in there and do it. Well, it's the same thing for a lot of us veterans, and so that's kind of why we sort of run tight sets too, because we know how to run the cameras, we know how to get the boom, because we're doing the editing too, and oftentimes we wrote it, so it kind of streamlines everything. And I can tell you when I do both sides of the camera, I act as well, but when I'm behind the camera and my veteran buddies are behind the camera, we ain't wasting nobody's time.
Right.
We'll get you out of there and on your way.
Right,
so,
right. You're there to complete the mission.
15 minutes early, yes.
Well, I wanted to give you some Laffy Taffy.
Shake that Laffy Taffy. That's awesome. Wow.
To remind you, I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And this show to me is not just, I want to show different dynamics of life and just people giving to their environment. Whether it's on the professional level, the independent level, that's so important to me, because I believe we are our environments. And if
Absolutely.
we want our environments to thrive, we have to get in there and we have to give back to them. So love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And,
Ditto.
and you know, I want you to grow and keep getting interest in that. If you have some advice to give, let's say to a veteran
Yep.
who's just gotten out of the military and they don't really, they're going through a hard time.
Yep.
What's the advice?
Yep. Two things. So that veteran probably has some family or friends somewhere who are aware of that vet's transition to civilian life. Family and friends, you have a responsibility. Even when you think everything is fine, pick up the phone and do a battle check.
Love that.
Just stop by, bring some McDonald's, whatever. Now, number two, for that veteran, show up, ask questions, be brave. The same bravery that got you through all that junk until handing them that uniform back, continue it, and just don't die wondering.
Do you think do a lot of veterans keep things to themselves just because they know people can't relate to it?
Yes.
I mean, if you told me
Yes.
your war stories, I can't really relate to them, right?
I would say, I'd argue that the ones who are sitting there telling all kinds of war stories probably didn't even ever go anywhere.
Right, because it becomes it's a sacred place. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very personal for us, and if we're discussing it, it's usually amongst ourselves,
Right.
with one another.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's a very respected place.
Thank you for what you do as well. You inspire so many others, and I'm among them. And thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you so
Yes.
much. I'm so
Yes.
glad, that people want to be on the show and they want to give back. It's humbling to me, and I learned so much.
I just did it for the Laffy Taffy.
Yes, just for the Laffy Taffy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you around.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for being here on Kelly. We hope this segment educated and inspired you. I'm sure Albert, if you leave comments, Albert will be glad to come in on the comments and answer any questions that you have.
Airborne.